Holy shit, what's up YouTube? This is Damien J. This is the morning drive. Today, I want to talk about Horace and Pete. I've been wanting to talk about the show for a while. I just watched the final episode, and now I got a good excuse to talk about it because there's no more episodes to talk about. That being said, this is going to be somewhat spoiler-free. If I'm getting on something that might be a spoiler, I'll try to warn you ahead of time if I catch myself. First of all, it's the end of the season. It runs about, I think the first episode cost, if I recall correctly, like one of them cost $5, one of them cost $2, and then pretty much the rest of them all cost $3. So total, you're going to be spending, 3 times 8, 24, plus 5, 29, plus 3, $32 for the whole season. Totally worth it. Completely worth it. Great show. Outstanding character development. Outstanding. You truly care about every one of the characters. Just great. I mean, outstanding performances. I can't remember everybody's names. Edie Falco's in it. Alan Alda's in it. Steve Buscemi. There's actually a great performance by, I forget her stinking name. I wanted to look it up before we started because her performance is so good. She actually takes most of the performance of, most of the whole video, I think, of episode 3 is of her. If you ever watch the show Roseanne, it's the sister. I feel like crap that I can't remember the name, but it is absolutely an excellent performance. Excellent performances all around. I would say that there are a couple of weaker performances in it, but even then, the rest of the cast kind of brings those performances up. So it's one of those things where you look at a couple performances and you're like, oh, it's not very realistic, but at the same time, you're like, you know what? I understand. So for those of you who don't know the background of the show, Louis C.K. pretty much decided to do this show on his own without any help from Netflix, any help from Fox FX, even though both were like putting in bids for the show, like, hey, we'll take this show, we'll air it. So maybe it'll end up on Netflix sometime, but quite honestly, you gotta give the funny man his due. Louis C.K. has done tons to make us laugh over the years. I think the least that you can do as a fan of Louis C.K., if you are a fan, is go ahead and buy this show because it is absolutely worth it. I actually didn't catch on to the show until about 4 episodes in because I didn't even hear about it. I didn't even know it existed, to tell you the truth. So when I found out that the show existed, I immediately went ahead and did it because I normally just rent his stuff, and I don't really buy any of his things because they're usually always available either on Amazon Prime or on Netflix. So this gave me an opportunity to actually contribute to Louis C.K. because, like I said, he's one of the greatest for sure. I mean, maybe not of all time, but definitely of our time. Like, of the present date, he is definitely one of the best, and this show is just, it's amazing. I can't compare it to Louis because where Louis has an uncomfortableness, there's still a real funniness here. Like, this show is clearly a drama. It is clearly a drama. There are funny things in it, don't get me wrong, because they are attending bar. So there are plenty of great funny things that happen, but really at the heart of this, it's a drama. It's a very well-told story, and to be honest, when the ending comes, I have to say, fuck you, Louis, because I didn't see that coming. I didn't see it coming, and when it comes, it hurts, because you've gotten to know, like, I almost cried watching it. I'm almost crying now thinking about the ending. It's so good, and it was just so off, I don't know if off-putting is the right word. It really just takes you back. It takes you back a little bit because you're just sitting there like, oh shit, I was not expecting that. So just an amazing show from start to finish. Just wonderful performances all around. I think Louis C.K. doesn't think of himself as an actor very much. I don't think he holds himself in that light, but I think that after this show that people are going to have to take it more seriously as an actor, because because he pulls it off. He pulls it off. Now, don't get me wrong. Not every performance is strong from every person. Obviously, Steve Buscemi and some of the older actors, but don't get me wrong. There are some things where you're like, oh, I don't know if a real person would act that way, but it doesn't take you out of the story at all. Like you may sit there for a second, like, huh, and then right away you're just sucked back in. So I would say that despite little tiny shortcomings, maybe, and who am I to fucking criticize or judge? I don't fucking do anything creative with my. This is the most creative as it gets. Any fucking idiot can have a YouTube show. So I'm not exactly the creme de la creme of smart, witty, artistic things. So don't fucking take my word for it. Watch it yourself, because you may not see what I see. I guess I just watch too much TV is the problem. But just amazing. It was just amazing. I'm like really shocked by how good it is, just to tell you the truth. I'm just amazingly shocked by how good it is. I am I don't know, it's really good. So if you get a chance, watch it. Amazing performances. I don't know how this is going to work, because he released this all on his own. So is it capable of getting awards? I mean, he's really changed the game here by doing this all out of pocket. And it doesn't seem to me like a lot of my friends who are Louis C.K. fans, who claim to own every shred of his material, haven't bought this. And some of them didn't even know. I had to tell them about it. Like, well, did you know about Horace and Pete? Like, no, I didn't. What's that? And I tell them, and they're just like, oh, and that's it. They don't care to watch it. They're like, well, if it's not, you know how people are these days. If you can't give them something, if you can't give somebody something that they want, the way in the mode of transportation that they like it in, they immediately dismiss it as bullshit, because they're like, well, it's not on Netflix, so meh. And it's like, no, dude, it's totally worth the money. Like, I kind of splurged on it. Like I said, the first day I think it was like the first 4 or 5 episodes, and I trucked through them because they were just so interesting. And it got to the point where every week when I would get the email from Louis C.K., I'd read the email and just be like, oh shit. Like, read the email, get excited, and then I'm like, oh, downloading it because I wanted to watch it on high def. And amazing show, guys. Just amazing. Alan Alda, holy shit. Like, he is that, he encompasses that older guy that's been through it all, that just doesn't take any shit, and just crazy, man. Just the craziest thing ever. The ending will definitely send you reeling for sure. It's just took me totally by surprise. I actually jumped when it happened. I jumped. I couldn't believe it. And I don't know, man. But like I said, fuck you, Louis, because that was some great writing, dude. He wrote the whole thing, apparently. Geez, just a fucking wonderful show. Definitely fucking check it out. It is totally worth the money, guys. I know that's crazy to spend $32 on 10 episodes of a show, but I'm telling you, completely worth it. Absolutely amazing. I don't know if you guys, for those of you who haven't watched the show, you may have heard something about it, because Huffington Post aired this thing about how Louis C.K. sent out an email about Donald Trump, and this is actually one of the ones that got me to get the show. And basically he had commented on Trump and how you'd have to be crazy, blah blah blah, and he said it doesn't matter what you believe in, you really need to take part in the election, and blah blah blah, kind of stuff like that. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it's easy to Google. Just put in Louis C.K. and Trump. And that very next episode was actually, they made fun of a comedian, stressing his opinion on it. It happens almost in real time, because everything happens like a week after the week that we're actually living in. So it's almost happening right now as we're walking through time. So it really makes you feel like these events are happening in the present. And then there's a flashback scene which kind of really shows you like the dysfunction. So just briefly, if I were to give it a brief synopsis, it's about 2 guys who are running a bar named Horace and Pete. They're like the 8th or 9th generation, or they're like the 8th generation of Horace and Pete's to run this place, I think. That's just what I gather from like the last episode. And they've owned this place forever, and they either had a son or a cousin or somebody who was named Horace and Pete, and then those two would take over the bar, and then that's how the cycle kept going throughout. So over 100 years of one bar being opened by two guys named Horace and Pete. That's the premise, and then basically it's about the function and dysfunction of this family as it went through the years. And it's crazy because you keep getting hit with like these bombshells over and over of this dysfunction. And in a way, even though you look at this family and you just say to yourself, holy shit, this is a fucked up family, at the same time you look at it and you go, I mean, this could be any family. This could be any family in the world. And then that's just the nature of the beast. I mean, the craziness of what is Horace and Pete will make you wonder who's really insane in the show. Like, who's really the kooky person that you can't handle. So, I don't know, guys. Definitely go check it out. It is worth every penny. I would really like you guys to get on board with this show and go check it out. Just amazing. But anyway, you can follow me, or first of all, if you watched the show and you liked it, please drop in the comments below what you thought about it. If you're interested in it and you want to know a couple more things before you pull the trigger on the $32, please feel free to drop a comment below. Honestly, go check out that first episode, because I think the first episode is only $2. It's either I'm pretty sure it's $2. Go check it out, see what you think. It's going to give you an idea. I didn't really get like super into the show until 3 episodes in, but I feel like there's enough there in the first episode that'll carry over to the second. I watched it after all. Now, granted, I bought like all the episodes right away so that I could start downloading and watching them, but I'd already made the commitment in money. But I can tell you that it really picks up and it's really good. Some episodes are 25 minutes or something like that, and some episodes are over an hour. So it's a mixed bag what you're going to get, and I can tell you guys, it is totally worth it. Every episode could stand on its own. Just amazing. I mean, I can't say that I've been wanting to start it over and watch it again, but I kind of wanted it to be finished. So now that it's finished, I'm going to have that opportunity to go back and watch the whole season over again and really kind of absorb it and really get to enjoy those performances. Because like I said, there's some stuff in there that it's really uncomfortable, but at the same time you can't turn away. Because a lot of times when I would watch the Louis show, there were things that were so uncomfortable and hit so close to home that I would actually have to turn it off. Like, I can't watch this episode. It's embarrassing for me to watch this. So in this one, I guess it distances you enough on the outside of this where you can just kind of look at the dysfunction and not kind of take it personally, which almost makes the show better because you can actually really immerse yourself into the story. So that's just how I feel about it. I don't know how, because like I think I stopped watching the Louis episodes in season 3 because it just got really uncomfortable. And don't get me wrong, I love the show Louis. It's just that it's so good at making me feel uncomfortable with my shitty life that watching it is just really, really tough. So anyway, whatever your thoughts are on it, please drop it in the comments below. You can follow me on the snaps, the tweets, and the grams. That's at DamianJ, DamianJay, because I love you fuckers, and thanks for riding with me.